Hi guys, it's Joey, and today's video is talky video. I've done 2 already, so this will be the 3rd and final one for today. It's going to be called Witchy Rest, or something along those lines. So, I've had this weekend off from the cyberspace, particularly, and this apparently caused some concern. I did say I was going, but it was the bank holiday weekend in England, and therefore the Nomi was at home on Friday and Monday, so we had a long weekend. So we made a long weekend of it. We had some sort of extended Beltane celebrations this weekend. He had a roast dinner with me, and we had roast turkey, and it went over a few days because we spread them out, so we got a great big turkey crown, and that goes over a few days, and salads. Economizing. And we went to see a re-showing of the 80s movie Labyrinth, which was on at the local cinema yesterday, and it's amazing. I love Labyrinth and everything about it, and it's really kind of Beltane-y with the whole fairies and fantasy and ballroom scene. I love the ballroom scene. I would be terrible if it were me in that movie, because at the ballroom scene I would be like, forget it, just stay here. Kidding. Anyway, not really. Excuse me. So we had a long weekend of rest, and it occurred to me that I need to talk about this side of things, because, you know, I craft and make things and show spells and give opinions in these sorts of videos a lot. I engage in crafting things because that is my joy to do so. It is my relationship with my divinity to do so. It is inspiration. I get excited about ideas. I like crafting. I get very involved in those processes. I think you can tell from how a lot of my things look that it's not just slapdash, and quite often when I talk about things I will talk about every element that has gone into making a candle or a spell jar, or throwing my water all over the place. I avoided it. Let's put the lid on, pop it over there. And I put so much time and energy into these things because it is my joy to do so. I enjoy these sorts of things, and I like making them. It makes me feel better. It takes my mind off negativity, of mundane stuff that I don't want to think about. It helps me sort of regulate the cycles within myself. It's a sort of process I go through. Not every person connects to creating certain things in the same way, and that's why we're all good at creating different things, because the way we connect with our own creativity, with our own inspiration, is all widely varyingly different from person to person, and the way sort of our brains fire and we go through things is different, and that's why my approach to a spell or my approach to a creation candle will be different to other people's, and that's why they look different, that's why they feel different with the energies, etc. But the important part, I think, of whilst I show all of these things, is to mention sort of the flip side, which is the necessity of rest, the danger of burnout, and the need for the pause. I think this is a good time for pausing. We were in dark moon, so it's a good time for cutting and getting rid of, and then new moon, starting over. And that's probably why I'm entering into another rest phase, as well as the fact I've been through a few death cycles recently, and they take their toll. And a lot of people have been through these sort of difficult life journeys recently, and the need for rest is very necessary. And in modern society, I think we feel guilty about taking time out, about stopping, about resting. It's like we're letting ourselves down, we're like letting other people down, like we're obliged. I have something glittery. right here in my head. Well, okay, that was weird. So we feel obliged to other people, and like we're letting them down, and like we should be busy, 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 and if we're not busy, 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 we've failed somehow. And there's a lot of it on YouTube where people are like, I have a life, I'm busy all the time, and like that makes any difference. Like that's desirable, like that's something of importance to never be stopping, when all you're doing is heading for personal burnout, like personal breakdown and burnout by doing that. I think it's really important sometimes to just, when you need it, is just to step back, breathe, take some time to yourself, doing whatever it is that relaxes you, and generally is a solitary activity. For a lot of us it might be going out and reconnecting with nature, or reading, or writing, although rest periods tend to be less about actually physically creating something and more just pausing and breathing in. Excuse me 1 second. It can be taking time out for yourself in a number of ways, you know, if going for a walk, doing some exercise. It can be like a pampering yourself type session, and it's a good time of year to be doing that anyway, because we've come off the tail end of the Beltane energies. So if you wanted to give yourself a little pamper, a little bit of TLC and a little bit of space, now would be a great time. I actually grabbed myself a new liquid eyeliner, Barry M, on Friday, and it's just a little something, but it's just like a little self-pampering, a little sort of for yourself, a little bit of makeup, a little bit of jewellery, a little bit of whatever tickles your fancy, you know, just a small appreciation of self would be good around about now. And I think the thing about Witchy Rest is we need it, and we sort of punish ourselves for needing it, like somehow we should always be doing spells, somehow we should always be crafting goods, somehow we should always be active on it, doing it. And the truth of it is that you'll break down and burn out that way, you know? Even with subjects you love and doing something which inspires you, even on a day-to-day basis, you're going to need time just to breathe. Just even if you take 10 minutes out of every day just to sit and do nothing. And quite often what I do is I go sit, the gnome thinks I'm weird, but I go sit and stare out the window for 5-10 minutes and just listen to the birds, or you know, watch the nature in the garden or something. I mean, I do tend to go out as well, but there's something for me, maybe this is a past life thing, something for me about just sitting in a window, maybe with a window open, depending on how warm it is, and just watching the world go by for 5-10 minutes. It's really peaceful and really relaxing, and it sort of helps me reconnect with myself. And it also, if I'm not careful, I can't do it for too long, because if I do it for too long it sort of fills me with the sort of not emptiness of the world, but how vast the world is. I was driving past all these houses yesterday thinking there are so many people in all of these houses, and you know, millions of people, and they're never going to meet, and going about their own business, and that was my brain yesterday. I was like and I started thinking about Letha yesterday, Midsummer, so my brain has started clicking on to the next energies. And yeah, so pulling back. So the importance of rest and space and the reconsidering of our options, perhaps, is something I think is really important to the energies right now. There's a lot of people who have been going through these really difficult life circles and cycles even. And you know, when you've been hit hard by pain and negativity and disappointment and fallings out and loss of people and everything else like that, it can be absolutely critical just to take that pause, and that's the best way I can think of expressing it, is the pause. You don't need to be crafting every second of every day to be a witch. You don't need to be doing spells all the time to be a witch. These are things that witches can do. It doesn't mean that's what a witch is. A witch understands that about the cycles of life, about energy, about the need of balance within your life. You know, you can't be active and creating all the time because dun, 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 bang. You know, something will have to give, and this it's a little bit abstract in my own mind at the minute because my brain's been a little bit spaced with the whole headaches thing, and I really hope it's not my other teeth. When it did this last time, it was these two teeth, and had them removed, so I'm really hoping it's not these two teeth now. So what would be some other ideas? Now, I think, like I've said before and I'll say again, I think sort of, it's not meditation within the bath space, because you have to be careful, you know, you're not going to fall asleep in the bath. It's not the safest thing to do, but that sort of meditative state where you're in a sense of relaxation within the bath is a really great thing to do, and I think it's really easy to connect with deity, because you can go in the bathroom and you can lock the door, presumably, or, you know, it's usually more of a private space, not for everybody, but generally speaking, and you can try and get that time on your own, and you can light a few candles round, you can have some scent going in the bathroom, you can have, you know, bubble bath scent, you can have scented candles, you can, etc. You can have some music on, as long as you're careful about where the music is in regards to where the water and the power supply is, obviously. Don't be electrocuting yourself, not relaxing. It could be very relaxing forever if you're not very careful. And then, so you can have your music, and you can have that, and you can have the water, and it's just, maybe take a few tumble stones, like a rose quartz, in the bath with you. You have to be careful with which crystals you take in the bath with you. Do not take ones which will dissolve, like selenite, and, you know, just be aware. But I mean, quartz is a good example. You can take quartz in the tumble stones in the bath with you, and you'll be fine. And it's really, really relaxing and really, really de-stressing, and it's like, the way I do it, it's like stepping into a different realm, because you have that. I have Chinese instrumental relaxing music on, and it's that sort of, I've forgotten what, they have this one instrument and it's amazing, and it just sends shivers down my spine. And then, you know, you have the steam rising off the bath, and you have your scented candles picking up on light and the steam, and then the music, and sometimes I'll have the rest of the light off, so just have that, and then I was actually holding and moving the crystals between my hands, and it was incredibly peaceful, and it sort of zones you out, and then maybe you can get a nice night's rest afterward. Crystals is a really lovely way of relaxing. You can sit within a circle or just hold some crystals, and that sort of meditation. I think I don't need to go into meditation too much. That is one tool available. And then you have to allow yourself and give yourself permission to chill, to step back, to breathe, to rest. And understand that it's okay not to be going, because before you know it, you'll be going, gone. And it's alright to have rest periods. It's alright to enjoy yourself. It's alright to play. That's really important, you know. What is it that you can do in your adult life which take you back to a state of play, a state of joy, even if it's only for a little bit, even if it's only for once a week? There's nothing wrong with play. Like we get to like an adult stage, and somehow it's got to be serious. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. And it's just, you're losing something. You're losing a sense of joy. You're losing freedom. It's difficult to put it into words. It's like you're constraining yourself on purpose. Yes, we have to be adults in most ways, but there's nothing wrong with bringing in a little childlike joy and just having a play every now and again. At least I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's a really good idea. So I'm going to leave it there for today, and many blessings.